All right, welcome to ConQuest Movie Reviews. I'm Dalton. Why are you hitting?
I'm Oppie!
That's so loud. Good God. All
I
right.
was trying to give a drum roll. Dramatic.
That's so loud. It's so loud. All right. Today, we're doing Jumanji. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to the jungle.
I forgot that was actually the second part of it. Like,
yeah.
Why was that song nowhere in this movie, though?
This is the opening, wasn't it?
Was it? No, I don't...
Yeah, pretty sure it was in the opening.
You know, I cannot remember, and I just watched it yesterday.
I'm always a little behind on Jumanji.
I was underrating the movie, actually.
I told him to go see it. It was really good. He didn't believe me. So, pros of the movie. The cast. God. The cast is fantastic.
God, can we... So we mentioned this in an earlier date. Jack Black is so phenomenal.
Yeah, we reviewed the Polka King earlier, and
Jack Black
can play
acting as an 18-year-old girl.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's one of my favorite Jack Black roles ever.
Yeah. And then like
The Rock, Kevin Hart,
Gillian Anderson.
Is that who that girl was?
I'm pretty sure that's her name.
You know, for some reason I kept thinking it was Scarlett Johansson.
No, Gillian Anderson's known for Doctor Who, and she's also you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah. She's
the the blue-faced chick.
Oh, she's Nebula?
Yeah, Nebula. She's Nebula.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I only saw red hair, badass Scarlett Johansson.
No. No. Yeah, she's in like Doctor Who is like what she became famous for.
Okay.
She's a British actor, and then she played Nebula.
You could almost not tell that.
No, yeah, she hides her accent very well. It's
but seeing her as Nebula, I could see that. Okay.
Yeah, she's Nebula.
That's good.
The cast is great, and I personally don't like Kevin Hart in movies. I like his stand-up. As far as his movie goes, I really don't like him in movies.
You didn't like Get Hard?
No.
The
one with The Rock?
No, Get Hard was the one with Will Ferrell.
No, didn't like it.
What the one with with The Rock was I haven't seen it. I can't say I have.
Any scene with The Rock's great, but I don't like Kevin Hart in movies.
I like his show, Real Wives of Real Husbands of New York or something. I don't know.
Like I watched him on
I can't even remember
Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld's show, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and I was like, yeah, he's funny, and I think he's really funny, and I don't think he's a good actor. But in this movie, I thought he did a great job. Just because, the role... He
was in Ride Along, wasn't he?
He was in Ride Along.
With Ice Cube? I like that movie.
I don't like either of them.
You know, now you're changing my whole perspective of Kevin Hart's acting. Now I have to go back and watch all these movies. I can still laugh at Get Hard, though, because I do know that movie was actually funny.
But... I mean, yeah, the movie was funny with, Will Ferrell scenes, but...
It's gonna kill me if I don't know the name of that movie with him within Rock.
But anyway, the humor of the movie was great. It was always on point.
Fantastic.
And that was one major difference from the original one. Is the original one was more serious, while this one was definitely a more humoristic take on the series. But it definitely had its moments that were kind of serious. But definitely the humor through the movie kept me laugh.
Where it was they changed the whole dynamic.
Yeah, the whole dynamic changed in the film.
Where the Jumanji film, the original, was based off of you didn't have as many millennialistic theories in it, obviously. So you're having that based off the game is coming to you, and that's terrifying.
Well, yeah, it's like they said the game. What was the tagline?
Central Intelligence.
Central Intelligence. Yeah. What was the line in the movie? The game finds a way or whatever. The game always finds a way. Yeah,
is the game always finds a way to get you hooked.
So if anyone hasn't seen the original Jumanji, God forbid. It's with Robin Williams, and they basically play a board game. Robin Williams gets sucked into the board game. 20 years pass by. Robin Williams comes out of the board game. They have to play the game again. They have to finish the game to make everything go back to normal.
Yep.
This movie literally takes place in 2017 and is literally a direct sequel. The movie starts...
2016.
Is it 2016?
Yeah, because the kid got sucked in 1996, and they said he was in the game for 20 years.
Yeah, right. So the game literally... Well, the movie literally starts right after the first movie. It shows the beach.
Yeah, it picks right up.
Right up. It shows the beach scene, which brings us to our next point, is Easter eggs throughout the film.
Easter eggs. Fantastic.
The movie starts immediately.
God bless.
From the first one.
The movie, it starts credits, and then you just start off with dun 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 dun, and you're like, oh yes, this is what I needed. Then you see the board game
in the sand on the beach. The dude picks it up, brings it home. And then it shows
the kid opens the game. He's like, board game. Who plays the board games anymore? And he puts it on the shelf and he starts playing. He picks up a PlayStation, an original PlayStation.
Yeah, he's playing a game on PlayStation. But I think the game turns into like an Atari cartridge.
That was the weird part. So the board game of Jumanji apparently adapted, and it noticed that
he's playing video games.
Maybe kids don't play board games anymore. Let's change it up a notch. Overnight, it adapted, and then the kid wakes up to dun 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 dun.
Yeah, coming from the board game.
And he opens it, and there's a little cartridge.
And it's
an OG Atari cartridge.
It's an Atari cartridge.
And this kid just has an Atari laying around. You know, when I had a PlayStation, I didn't have an Atari.
I think growing up, I think the oldest system my dad had laying around was literally a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that was it. That was my first game system. Was it a Super Nintendo?
Yeah. So the movie picks up from there. He gets sucked in the board game. 20 years later, 2016, it picks up on a bunch of kids. They all get detention, and they have to clean a room, and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And they all get sucked into Jumanji.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize throughout, you find out later, which comes to the Easter eggs things. The jungle they get sucked into the game is the same jungle
that
Robin Williams' character, gets sucked into.
And they drop that Easter egg like way later in the movie.
Yeah, they drop it way later. Like, I was just like, oh, it's like a virtual thing. But no, it is the original jungle Robin Williams gets sucked into.
Yeah.
Because later on, when they meet up with the first character that got sucked into the game, he, Nick Jonas.
Shut up!
We'll get to that later. They're at like a hut, basically, like a little camp.
Yeah, and they're like,
site.
"Oh, well, so you made this hut," and he's like, "No, this." They're like, "Who's Alan?" And it was like, "Oh, this is his hut." You know, he was the original guy. Like, and we're like, "Oh, snap! Okay."
Yeah, I was like, "That's pretty good. That was a little nice Easter egg." And I'm sure there's many others that I missed. I really wish they would have dropped the hunter.
Yeah, the colonel guy, whatever.
For one of the Easter eggs.
He should have definitely been in this movie.
So the plot of the film, like we kind of went over that. It's great. As we say,
we didn't talk about. We just talked about.
So as they get sucked in, you find out the whole point of the game at the very beginning when they get sucked in. An NPC comes up and tells them, which is pretty funny. I can't remember that actor's name, but I love him. He's so fantastic. Funny. So the NPC tells them that they have to find the jewel of Jumanji.
Yep.
And place it back in the Jaguar's eye, and then after they place it into the Jaguar's eye, they have to yell Jumanji. And there's a whole antagonist that wants the jewel for himself, literally straight out of an old video game, you know.
And he did it all in rhyme.
Yeah, he did it all in rhyme.
Like,
so that is pretty funny. But the plot of the film was really great, and it kept at a very fast pace.
Rice Darby, right,
that's his name.
Yep.
And the whole film kept up at a very high pace. There were some slow points, like when they get to the bazaar.
Yeah, I feel like that was needed, though, because...
Well, the scene beforehand, it was just the motorcycle scene, so I felt like it needed to break up the action, but...
They started off kind of like, okay, we need to kind of introduce the kids who are about to get forced into Jumanji, and you know, so they kind of gave you like a little bit of who they are, but it wasn't too much. So I feel like they did really well in that opening. And then as soon as they got into the game, they got to the NPC, and you're like, okay, this is good. We're getting we know what they have to do.
Well, it wasn't even that. Like the very beginning, they drop in and Jack Black gets eaten by a hippo.
Oh yeah. Yep, that I forgot that actually just happened. I mean, yeah. I was trying to not drop every spoiler, but yeah.
That's in the trailer.
Is it in the trailer?
That's in the trailer.
Yeah,
that's gonna be spoilers.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, but yeah, but you know, and then it goes. You're sitting there and you're like, okay, there's a little comedy right here, and it's funny finding out who's who and how these characters are playing these other people. Like you see Jack Black acting as an 18-year-old female. You see
The Rock
Kevin Hart.
A very awkward.
The Rock is like super muscular, but he's still nerdy, so he like doesn't know how to interact with muscles.
He's a super. I think it's the part. It's the very first part. He's like, don't cry. He's like freaking out.
And then Kevin Hart's like obviously 3 feet. He's 3 feet smaller than his actual life.
What's the rest of my body?
I'm missing up 2 feet of my body.
It's pretty good.
And then the nerdy kind of like standoffish girl is like super attractive and has like no clothes on hardly, and she's just like, why am I busted?
Yeah, but the pace of the movie's great. You know, it starts off kind of slow at the beginning. Which is really weird if you think about the original one, because the original one does kind of start off like kind of the same way, and then it hops right into the action.
The first one basically had the, like, I mean, not to say it came after it, but I mean, like, if you looked at the basic pace, it's the same as Zathura.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same guy.
It's the same exact concept, same exact everything.
Well, I mean, it's based off. So the original Jumanji is based off a book.
Yeah.
Zathura is also based off the book by the same guy.
Oh, okay.
So
that's fair.
it's literally the same thing. However, what made Welcome to the Jungle a little more interesting concept is the fact of there is no sequel to Jumanji. Like, they never wrote another book.
No.
So they had, like, all the liberties they wanted with it. And what made me happy is even though they had liberties with it, that they still went out of their way to make it work with the first one.
Yeah. There was like just so much that they could have went off track with the movie, and they actually just like reverted back, made their own little spin on it, and
yeah, they still use the concepts from just like the original, like Jumanji and Zathura, and like just made it fit. So I guess some cons of the movie we have to talk about. Is maybe I don't know. I kind of felt there was maybe too much humor at certain areas where they could have kind of focused on it a little bit more.
Yeah,
obviously there's some more serious points, like with the Cobra scene, and I wanted the rhinoceros scene where they're in the helicopter to be a little bit more serious. Like, humor was fine in it, but I just felt like they played up the humor more than the seriousness it needed to be for that moment.
I feel like they did okay with it. For the fact is, like, you know, it was a strategic moment. So, like, obviously, yeah, Kevin Hart's character is going to have some kind of funny, because he's like, oh, hey, you just pushed me out of a damn helicopter. You know, I'm going to die now. You know, I can't run. Obviously, you saw my weaknesses. It's speed. You know, and then The Rock was like, okay, cool, bam, you died, got you. And I thought it was a really cool, like, moment. But I do agree with you on the part of, I feel like they tried too hard to make this movie more about being a comedy, where the original Jumanji was
super
based
serious.
off as like being like kind of an action thriller.
Yeah, it was,
and there was limited humor, even though Robin Williams was in the movie, because he was playing more of a serious character, because he wanted to be himself. He had to get out in order to be a human again, basically.
Yeah. I mean, even like the original, like some of the humor in the original one, I guess, is a little more different today. Like the fact in the original one, he walks out and he just shaved, and he never shaved before, so he's got all the cut marks and like the toilet paper on them. They're like making fun of him for it.
Yeah,
he's
see,
like, never shaved before. I'm just like, that's pretty funny. But
yeah, so I mean, that's where you add in stuff like that, and that makes sense. That's cool. Because there wasn't too much funny in there. But, I mean, with this cast, you knew. As soon as you see Kevin Hart plus Jack Black in a movie, you're like, man.
The Rock is a really funny actor. Like, a really good comedian. The Rock can be,
yeah.
Yeah, so at this point, I knew the movie was going to be a lot more humorous. Yeah. And that's why I was really apprehensive at first. The humor fit well within the movie, and I was fine with it. I felt like there was some moments that could have gone without it.
Yeah.
One of the other things you brought up is
not enough
the
played
characters
on the strengths and the weaknesses. Like, there's a segment in the game, or in the movie,
where you see the strength of
where they have to pop their chest, and they can find out their character that they picked to play. You can find out their strengths and weaknesses. Obviously,
The Rock had none.
Had all these amazing strengths. One of them being a boomerang, which made no sense until he used it once.
Yeah, that was kind of.
And he had zero weaknesses, and you're like, what? None. The nerdy guy not only got the swollest motherfucker in the game,
the broke character.
he literally picked the most busted character. And they wouldn't, like, and then, you know, the Kevin Hart's person was obviously a football player, and he had literally all of his roles reversed. Like, his weaknesses were running and strength, and cake.
Yeah.
And then you're like, cake? But he was like zoologist, something else, like all big words. And then there was the girl, her weakness was venom, just venom, nothing else, just venom. And then she had like all these different types of fighting,
fighting,
Muay Thai, this dance fighting. Jack Black's character was like paleontology, like map
geography, geography,
all this, like, and then his weakness was weird. Like, I forget what the weakness.
I don't think it ever came into play.
Yeah, none of them really did, because like it didn't.
The only weaknesses that came into play
were the cake and the venom.
No, and then Nick Jonas's character that came in, mosquitoes.
Oh yeah, mosquitoes.
mosquitoes.
God bless.
So I feel like they could have played up the strength. Like there was the scene, like everyone got their strengths played though. Like Jack Black got to read the map.
Zoology, bitch.
Yeah, he got to talk about snakes. I do feel like the Rock's strengths could be played more. Like Boomerang, they used it for one scene, like you said.
One scene, and it was
pointless.
It was a humorous part that was overplayed because you're like, I just really want to see something badass happen for once, and you gave me humor and then an explosion. So it's like you already ruined the moment. If he would have just thrown the boomerang and went knock 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 and then came back, I would have been like, that was pretty cool. Yeah. No, it whooped with. And then they're like, oh shit, we should run. And then it came back and blew all of them up. It blew them up. The boomerang made them explode. And it never came back to the Rock.
It was a video game, yeah. So,
but it didn't come back.
Yeah. Your point, I didn't really mind this one. Nick
Jonas.
You wanted to put Nick Jonas down as a con.
Okay, so
I didn't think he was that bad.
Not only did they not give me his strengths and weaknesses, but one of his strengths was making margaritas.
Yeah.
In which everyone hated except for the only black guy in the movie. God, I don't know why Nick Jonas is getting conned for this, but it's ridiculous. Mosquitoes.
His weakness was mosquitoes.
Not only are you you're in a video game, or your video game character, like whoever developed the video game Jumanji. I guess Jumanji was like, you know what? Fuck this in particular character. You just get to be allergic to fucking mosquitoes and you're going to be in the wild.
In the jungle, yeah.
So I don't know where he gets the fucking candles. God by me, I don't know where I got candles. They're like, what's with the candles? Oh, mosquitoes are my weakness. Yep. Can fly a plane, die to a mosquito bite.
Yeah. So that brings us to another part. Sadly, there was no one from the original cast. Obviously, Robin Williams can't be in it.
No.
But I would have liked to see the two other original characters. They did have the other Easter eggs, the cop from the first one. He had the principal had his last name, so you assume that was his son.
Probably, yeah. Okay.
But the hunter wasn't in it. The hunter, I can't even remember the actor's name. He's a fantastic actor. Oppie's gonna look it up for me. But he wasn't in it. I felt like he could have at least gotten a smaller role in it.
He could have had something either where
he was an NPC.
If you're in Jumanji, because they were all roles, he was the main part. He didn't die. He didn't die in the first one, did he?
He just got sucked back. No, he just got sucked back into the board. Yeah, but I felt like that's not a big gripe. It just would have been nice, and I kind of understand they wanted to kind of separate it and make its own thing. However, it would have been another nice nod in the Easter egg department. And that brings us to our last con. Is the ending part was getting to the destination too easy? It was getting to the Jaguar too easy.
They had way too easy of a time getting to where they needed to be.
But I don't think it was too easy. I felt like maybe
James Hardy,
right?
He was the exterminator.
No,
was he not?
He played his dad too. That's not him, yeah.
Then I don't know unless it was Van Pelt.
What's his name? Let me see. Where?
The guy's name is Jonathan Hyde. That might have been him.
Maybe. But Destination was too easy. I don't know. I kind of agree and disagree with that one at the same time. Because they had 4 levels, right? What were the 4 levels? It was the planes, the bazaar, the planes, the bazaar, the airplane / helicopter, or the helicopter level, and then the Jaguar. Yeah. The last part was the Jaguar.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else could they have really added.
I mean, they didn't do anything in any of them really.
No.
They just kind of walked in. It was
the only one.
It was a Brandon Fraser movie.
The only one that I felt could have been done better was the bazaar.
Well, no, because that's where a lot of stuff played in. Where you got to see a strength happen, the zoology. You got to see the teamwork where it actually seemed real for once. Then you saw a weakness happen, also Kate.
Well, I mean, I just felt like more could have happened. You want to point out, they didn't deal with a lot. Well, if you look at everything that happened, those things came into into play. But what really happened besides they got the map until the ending part?
They walked through a market and then got a map.
Yeah.
And then ran away and got saved by Nick Jonas.
But I don't think the destination was too easy. They probably could have added a little bit more. stuff in some of the areas.
I feel like by the time when they got to the ending, they didn't need to throw in that scene where The Rock died that way. He could have easily, like, because he lost his second to last life to the actual main antagonist, instead of just going through getting freaked out by a fucking squirrel and then attacked by jaguars. Like, really? And then he was screaming like a little bitch the whole time. Ah! 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 Like, it's The Rock. Like, really, this is the most important, like, one of the most important scenes leading up to the finish. And you're going, okay, use the trees. Okay, I'm going to go through the trees. Get scared by a squirrel. Fall down, jaguar kills you. It would have been better off if they were like going to walk, or he was like, all right, I'm going to go by myself. And then the dude's waiting for him somewhere and then shoots him and kills him.
Yeah, I just think, the whole ending part with some of the stuff felt just unnecessary.
Because not even Bravestone. Okay, let's go back to strengths and weaknesses. Smoldering.
Yeah, smoldering.
We have to get there.
Do you mean to do that?
No, it just happens.
No, it just happens.
Naturally.
Oh, that is 100% man. Jack Black's character.
Back into it. But the whatever is fucking Bravestone.
It's Bravestone, yeah.
Didn't get the final fight scene with the antagonist. Instead, the chick who was good at dance fighting and all this stuff was like the one who had the interaction. And it's like, what?
I don't know. I kind of like that.
I mean, I guess. Everybody kind of got their own moment there except for Jack Black's character.
No, he got the elephant part, didn't he?
No, that was zoology, bitch!
Oh, yeah, that was.
That was Kevin Hart.
Yeah, well, Jack Black's character didn't have a moment.
He didn't do anything.
No. Well, if you look at it a different way, the character, she had her moment at the end with Nick Jonas's character or whatever when he became an adult. I feel like that was...
Well, no, all right, she technically had her moment when she saved his life because he got bit by the mosquito.
Yeah.
But nothing really at the end. I think, I think the dude shot a bullet and Jack Black tackles.
Yeah, Jack Black tackles.
Out of the way, he tackles the guy with the gun.
Yeah,
okay,
Ruby Roundhouse gets the jewel.
So, okay.
Gets bit by the venom.
So he makes it up.
So.
But then, obviously, we didn't put this in a pro, but anyway, this is like for the ending part, the rating. The movie, why I respected it so much at the end, it had such a Breakfast Club feeling to it.
Oh yeah, they all become friends at the end.
Yeah, because
why are you talking with them?
It's like four kids come together in detention, obviously, and then all of them have different quirks and whatever, and now they're all friends, but two of them had a backstory, and then they kind of just split apart. But it felt so Breakfast Clubby at the end that I really respected it, and I liked the ending. And then when they met up with the original kid who got sucked in, which that's the only part I can complain about, where in the original, where Robin Williams got sucked in the game, he came back. He didn't go back to his normal age.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Was it at the end, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember at the end, when everything gets reset, it goes back to them in front of the fireplace where it all started, and then it picks up 20 years later. And they meet.
They meet him then.
Yeah, they meet the two.
Okay.
They meet the two parents who were going to go on the ski trip where they originally died, and then they tell them not to go.
Oh. Okay.
And then the kids still have the parents. Yeah.
Okay. See, it's been a while since I've seen the original Jumanji.
The movie came out in like 1994.
Well, I figured what I kind of mean is like when he got pulled out of the game, I think he could have came back as a kid instead of an adult.
He did.
No, I mean, like, whenever they called upon the character that he was playing in the game, whatever.
Oh, no.
He should have been a kid running through like a jungle man.
Yeah, what happens is the game always puts you back where you started.
Yeah.
So that was always, like, the board game aspect of it.
But I meant, like, while he was still a part of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Not coming back as an adult, coming back as a kid. And they were like, oh, wait, who's this kid coming from the jungle? Why are you covered in leaves and shit? Like, I mean, it's a really weird plot point. But, I mean... No. I like what they did with the ending where he ended up having his family and now that he was like, you're this, and then they had the whole moment of, hey, my kid's named after you because you saved my life. And it's like fantastic. This is a great movie.
Yeah. So overall, I'd give the movie probably an 8.
I'd give it a 9, actually.
I'd give it an 8.
Not to suck anyone's dick, The Rock, but... No, but...
I thought you were going to be like, not to suck anybody's dick, Jack Black. Like, I thought that's what you were going to...
That's pushing it.
I'm a 40-year-old overweight middle-aged man.
But like I felt like the movie had great tenacity.
Yeah, I loved it. Like you said, I'm gonna give it an 8. You said you're giving it a 9. So, will we recommend this movie? Yeah, go see it. It's amazing. It's really good.
It's probably almost out of theaters by now. So if so, wait until DVD comes out.
DVD, Blu-ray, Redbox, whatever you want.
Whatever, take it.
The internet.
Netflix.
I'm sure it'll be on Netflix eventually. Yeah. Right, they'll probably put it on Netflix with the original Jumanji. That's probably what they'll do. But all right, guys, this has been Movie Reviews with ConQuest. I'm Dalton.
I'm Oppie.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Pew pew.